Hi everybody. Welcome to our channel, The Essential Travel Tips. Our destination for you today, it's about dealing with flight delays cancellations. 1. Stay informed. Airline notifications. As soon as your flight is delayed or cancelled, airlines typically send notifications via email, text, or app updates. This is especially helpful if you're not at the airport yet. Keep an eye on these messages. Airport displays. Gate agents. If you're already at the airport, regularly check the flight information displays for updated flight statuses. Gate agents are your direct point of contact, so approach them early to ask for the reason behind the delay or cancellation, and what options are available. 2. Know your rights. Different countries and regions have various protections for passengers. Understanding these can give you leverage. EU regulations. Under EU Regulation 261/2004, if your flight is delayed by 3 hours or more or cancelled, you could be entitled to compensation, depending on the distance of the flight. For example, flights within the EU or up to 1,500 kilometers can be compensated with up to €250, while long-haul flights might be eligible for higher amounts, up to €600. Additionally, airlines are required to provide meals, drinks, and accommodations during extended delays. US regulations. In the US, airlines are not required to compensate passengers for delays unless the airline is at fault, e.g., mechanical failure or overbooking. However, if a flight is delayed by more than 3 hours, they must offer compensation, usually in the form of meal vouchers or a hotel stay. For cancellations, you are entitled to a refund if you decide not to take the alternative offered. 3. Rebooking and alternative flights. Automatic rebooking. Many airlines automatically rebook you on the next available flight if your flight is cancelled, but you can often make the change yourself via the airline's website or mobile app. It's advisable to act quickly to secure a seat on an alternative flight, especially during busy travel times. Multiple airports. If the delay or cancellation affects multiple airports in the region, check the availability of flights from nearby airports. This may give you more options and reduce your wait time. Some airlines even offer free transfers between airports in such cases. Flexible travel dates. If your trip isn't time-sensitive, being flexible about your travel date can help. Some airlines may offer to change your booking without fees if there are significant delays or cancellations. 4. Compensation and refunds. Cash or vouchers. Depending on the airline's policy and the length of the delay, you might be offered compensation in the form of cash, travel vouchers, or frequent flyer points. You can accept or decline these options. If you decline, ensure you request a refund if the flight is cancelled. Refund process. If you choose to cancel your trip due to the delay or cancellation, request a refund. You can apply online or through customer service. The process may take time, especially during high-demand periods, so be patient and follow up if needed. 5. Understanding the cause of the delay or cancellation. Knowing why your flight was delayed or cancelled can help you make informed decisions. Weather conditions. Bad weather is often an uncontrollable factor. Delays due to weather typically aren't eligible for compensation, but the airline should provide assistance, including meals and accommodations if necessary. Mechanical issues. If the delay is caused by mechanical problems or other issues within the airline's control, you may be entitled to compensation. Always ask if the delay is due to circumstances within the airline's control, as this can affect your rights. Crew shortages or overbooking. Airlines sometimes delay or cancel flights due to crew shortages or overbooking. These situations may entitle you to compensation or alternative flight arrangements, depending on the airline's policies. 6. Travel insurance. Covering expenses. Travel insurance often covers unforeseen delays and cancellations, reimbursing you for things like meals, hotel stays, and transport to alternative airports. Be sure to check the specifics of your policy and get in touch with the insurance provider as soon as possible. Delays beyond your control. Some policies cover delayed flights when the cause is beyond your control, like weather disruptions or airline strikes. If you know that your travel insurance covers this, you can save receipts and keep documentation of the delay to submit for reimbursement. 7. Staying comfortable during long delays. If your flight is delayed for hours or overnight, here are a few tips to help you stay comfortable. Snacks and drinks. Bring extra food and water with you, especially if the airport is crowded or if the airline doesn't provide compensation for meals. Entertainment devices. Having a power bank, headphones, and reading material can help you pass the time without frustration. Airport lounges. Some credit cards offer access to airport lounges even without first-class tickets. Lounges typically have comfortable seating, Wi-Fi, food, and drinks, providing a more relaxing environment during long waits. Stay connected if your flight is significantly delayed. Keep your family or friends updated, especially if they're expecting you at your destination. Most airlines also provide free Wi-Fi, or at least free messaging for passengers during delays. 8. Remain patient and polite. Dealing with airline staff are often under pressure during delays and cancellations. A respectful, calm approach can make a big difference in getting helpful solutions. If you're frustrated, try to take a moment to breathe and approach the staff with clear, reasonable requests. Managing stress. Flight delays and cancellations can be emotionally taxing, especially when you're already dealing with travel-related stress. Try to focus on things you can control, like finding a comfortable place to wait or planning your next steps. 9. Document everything. Keep records. Always keep documentation of the delay or cancellation, such as emails, flight itineraries, receipts for meals or hotel stays, and any communications with the airline. If you need to file for compensation or insurance claims, having a paper trail is crucial. 10. Monitoring for alternative options. Look for nearby flights. If your flight is cancelled, don't wait for the airline to suggest rebooking. You can proactively look for flights with other airlines that may have availability. Sometimes, airlines may offer to rebook you on a partner airline, but you might have more flexibility in choosing your own alternative flight. Consider using apps like Google Flights, Skyscanner, or Kayak to compare flights on the spot. Consider different routes. If there are no direct flights available, check for connecting flights. For example, if your original flight was non-stop, a flight with a layover might still get you to your destination within a reasonable time. However, be cautious of tight connections and the possibility of missing a connecting flight if delays are involved. 11. Long-term delays or cancellations. What to do if you're stuck for the night. Hotel accommodations. Many airlines are obligated to offer hotel accommodations or discounted rates when you're stranded due to a cancellation, especially if the next available flight is the following day. Ask the gate agent about your options, and if the airline doesn't provide a hotel, you can often negotiate for assistance. Meal vouchers. If you're stuck at the airport for an extended period, ask the airline about meal vouchers, especially if the delay is lengthy, e.g., 4+ hours. Even if they don't offer them automatically, being polite and persistent can sometimes yield better results. Temporary rest areas. Some airports have dedicated sleep pods or resting areas. If you're in for a long wait, inquire about any lounges or areas where you can get some sleep, stretch out, or relax. These can make the wait much more bearable. 12. Overbooking and forced standby. Understanding overbooking. Airlines frequently overbook flights in anticipation of no-shows. If you're bumped from a flight, you might be eligible for compensation and must be put on standby for the next available flight. The U.S. Department of Transportation mandates compensation if you're involuntarily denied boarding, with amounts varying based on how long you're delayed. Volunteering to be bumped. Sometimes airlines offer compensation to passengers willing to voluntarily give up their seat. You could receive meal vouchers, travel credits, or free flights. If you have flexibility in your travel plans, volunteering for this can lead to significant benefits. 13. Special considerations for families and vulnerable passengers. Families with young children. If you're traveling with children, airlines often offer more assistance during delays, especially if the cancellation is overnight. You may be entitled to additional support, such as priority boarding or special seating arrangements on the next flight. Some airlines may also have dedicated play areas for kids, so inquire about these to keep your children entertained. Assistance for disabled travelers. Airlines are required to provide assistance to passengers with disabilities or those requiring extra support during delays. This includes helping with mobility aids, rebooking onto accessible flights, and providing necessary accommodations. If you require assistance, make sure to notify the airline ahead of time, or once you know about the delay. 14. Dealing with international delays and cancellations. Language barriers. When traveling internationally, language can sometimes complicate communication during delays or cancellations. It's helpful to have a translation app ready on your phone, or know key phrases in the local language. Airline staff should have English-speaking agents available, but having a backup option for communication will help you feel more at ease. Currency concerns. If you're stuck in an airport overnight and need to buy essentials like food, water, or a taxi to a hotel, keep in mind the local currency. If you don't have cash, try to use your credit card, or look for international ATMs that accept cards from your home country. Cultural sensitivity: in some countries, airline staff may have different customs or expectations regarding customer service. A calm, respectful approach is essential, as getting upset or demanding too much could harm your chances of getting helpful assistance. 15. The importance of travel apps and notifications. Mobile notifications: besides tracking flight updates through the airline's official app or website, consider using third-party apps like FlightAware or FlightRadar 24. These apps provide real-time updates, including delays and cancellations, and sometimes give you a better understanding of what's happening with your flight, e.g., aircraft delays, weather issues. Airport apps: many airports have their own apps now that allow you to stay updated on your flight status, locate charging stations, find restaurants or lounges, and even track wait times at security. These can save you time and reduce stress during your wait. 16. Dealing with multiple delays. Connecting flights and missed connections: if your first flight is delayed and causes you to miss a connection, you have options. Many airlines will rebook you for the next available flight, but you may also have the chance to rebook the connection yourself. Stay on top of timing, especially if you are rerouted through airports where you'll need to go through security again. Multi-leg journeys: for longer trips with multiple flights, like international travel, delays can snowball. Be proactive by tracking the status of every segment of your journey. Keep a backup plan ready if one leg of your journey faces significant delays. 17. Advanced preparation for future travel. Booking non-stop flights when possible: if you're concerned about delays or cancellations, try booking non-stop flights to avoid the risk of connecting flights causing you more problems. Arriving early for your flight, especially if you're flying internationally or during peak travel times. Arriving early at the airport gives you more flexibility should something go wrong with your flight. It also reduces the chances of you getting bumped from an overbooked flight or facing the stress of last-minute rushes. 18. The psychological impact of delays and cancellations. Managing expectations: flight delays and cancellations can lead to anxiety and frustration. One of the best ways to cope is by managing your expectations. Recognize that there are factors beyond your control, and even though it's inconvenient, it doesn't need to ruin your entire travel experience. Dealing with anxiety: if you struggle with anxiety during travel disruptions, try breathing exercises or mindfulness techniques to stay calm. Bringing along personal comfort items like a favorite book, music, or a comforting snack can also help. Dealing with grief or disappointment: if the delay or cancellation is causing you to miss an important event like a wedding, business meeting, or family gathering, acknowledge your emotions. It's okay to feel upset, but remember that airlines are there to help mitigate the impact, and there are often solutions available. 19. Social media: a double-edged sword. Using social media to your advantage: many airlines have customer service teams that actively monitor social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. If you're having trouble getting through on the phone or at the gate, tweeting your issue politely or posting about it on Facebook can sometimes get a quick response. The risks of social media complaints: while airing grievances online can sometimes help get quick results, be careful not to escalate the situation unnecessarily. Keep your posts professional and respectful to ensure you don't inadvertently make the situation worse. Conclusion: by going beyond the basics and preparing for every possible scenario, you can turn a frustrating delay or cancellation into a manageable situation. Whether it's staying updated, knowing your rights, or maintaining a calm demeanor, being proactive can not only save you time, but also reduce the stress of the situation. Travel disruptions are an unfortunate part of modern life, but with the right mindset and strategies, you can navigate through them with confidence and resilience. 20. Handling missed connections due to delays. Know your options immediately if your flight delay causes you to miss a connection. Approach an airline representative as soon as possible to find out your rebooking options. Most airlines will prioritize getting you on the next available flight, but don't wait for them to come to you. Take the initiative. Stay in the same airline network if you are rebooked. It's often easier to stay within the same airline or its alliance. For example, if you're flying with American Airlines, try to get on another American Airlines flight, or one with their partner, to avoid confusion or complications. Consider alternative routes. Sometimes, a delay causes a cascade of missed connections. In these cases, it might be better to take an indirect route rather than waiting for the next available connecting flight. For example, if you're flying from NYC to Los Angeles but miss your connection, Instead of waiting for the next flight through Chicago, ask if there are flights through Dallas or Denver as alternatives. 21. Forcing the airline to take responsibility. Escalate if needed. Sometimes, agents might not be able to help with your case immediately. If you've been waiting for long periods without resolution, don't hesitate to escalate the issue to a supervisor. Be polite but firm in asking for the assistance or compensation you deserve. Cite airline policy or regulation if you're being denied assistance. Politely reference the airline's own policies or government regulations that entitle you to compensation or rebooking. For example, citing EU Regulation 261/2004 or U.S. Department of Transportation guidelines might push agents to act faster. 22. Understanding the causes of cancellations. Airline's responsibility if your flight is canceled due to something the airline can control, like mechanical issues, overbooking, or crew scheduling. They are typically responsible for rebooking you and offering compensation. Airlines can't avoid responsibility for these situations. If the cancellation was on the airline's part, you may be entitled to things like meal vouchers, accommodation, and compensation for inconvenience. External factors. If the cancellation is due to external factors like weather, strikes, or air traffic control delays, compensation might be more difficult to claim. However, the airline should still provide you with basic assistance like rebooking and accommodations if necessary. Strikes and labor issues. Airline strikes or labor shortages often lead to cancellations and delays, and while these are not always within the airline's control, they can still impact your rights. If a strike occurs, airlines typically are required to offer rebooking or refunds. It's also useful to track strike news ahead of your trip to prepare in advance. 23. When you're in a foreign country and your flight is cancelled, contact the U.S. Embassy or consulate. If you're traveling internationally and face a flight cancellation or prolonged delay, the embassy or consulate of your home country may be able to assist, particularly with lodging or any legal concerns. This is especially helpful in countries where language barriers or cultural differences might make resolving issues more complicated. Emergency services. Many airports, especially international ones, have customer service desks dedicated to international travelers. These desks can assist with rebooking, helping you communicate with your airline, and sometimes arranging temporary accommodations if needed. 24. Compensation requests and how to file them. How to file for compensation. If you are entitled to compensation, airlines often provide forms on their website to file a claim. This typically requires you to provide your booking reference, flight details, the reason for the cancellation, and any receipts for additional expenses incurred due to the disruption. Submit these forms promptly, and be persistent about following up if you don't receive a timely response. Keep track of your expenses when seeking compensation for meals, lodging, or other expenses. It's crucial to keep receipts. Airlines typically won't reimburse you without proof, and some expenses may be disallowed depending on their policies. If you stayed at a hotel during the delay, make sure to ask for a detailed receipt. Be specific about your request when filing a compensation claim. Be specific about what you are requesting, whether it's a refund, meal vouchers, accommodation reimbursement, or flight rerouting. Providing a clear and concise description of your situation will make the process smoother. 25. How to avoid flight delays and cancellations in the first place. Travel during off-peak times. Try to schedule your flights during off-peak travel times, e.g., midweek or early morning. These times tend to be less crowded and have fewer disruptions. Avoid flying during holiday seasons when airports are often packed, and the risk of delays or cancellations is higher. Avoid tight connections. If you're booking flights with layovers, try to leave at least 1.5 to 2 hours between connections, even longer for international flights. Tight connections increase your chances of missing a connecting flight, especially when delays occur. Choose non-stop flights as much as possible. Book non-stop flights. Connecting flights can increase your chances of missing your next leg, especially if your first flight is delayed. Fly with airlines known for timeliness. Some airlines have better reputations for punctuality than others. Research airlines' on-time performance ratings before booking. Websites like FlightStats or OAG provide performance metrics that can help you choose the best airline. Book early and plan ahead. Booking flights well in advance increases your chances of securing better seats, higher priority boarding, and more flexibility with changes. Many budget airlines offer cheaper fares, but these come with more stringent policies on cancellations and changes. Check for airline alerts. Most airlines now offer SMS or email notifications about flight status changes. Opt into these services to stay ahead of any potential delays or cancellations. Sign up for a frequent flyer program. Even if you're not a frequent flyer, joining an airline's loyalty program gives you benefits like priority rebooking, access to special services, and sometimes even compensation in the form of miles or vouchers for disruptions. 26. Making the best of the situation. Positive strategies. Networking during delays. Flight delays often bring together a diverse group of travelers. This is a great time to network or even strike up a conversation. You never know when a conversation with a fellow traveler or someone in the industry might lead to valuable contacts, advice, or an interesting story. Turn it into a positive experience. While it may seem frustrating, delays are an opportunity to slow down, relax, and reflect. Use this time to explore the airport, try some local food, or even catch up on reading or emails. The more flexible and adaptable you are, the easier it will be to handle the disruption without added stress. 27. The impact of the pandemic on flight disruptions. COVID-19 and airline operations. The pandemic has led to increased flight disruptions, from reduced flight schedules to staffing shortages. Airlines have struggled to return to pre-pandemic levels of service, which sometimes results in unexpected cancellations or delays. If you're flying during uncertain times, try to check for health-related regulations, quarantine requirements, or entry restrictions at your destination to avoid surprises. Health and safety considerations. During COVID-19, the airline industry has implemented new measures for sanitization and social distancing. Ensure you're aware of these policies, especially when dealing with delays or cancellations. Many airlines have adjusted their customer service to accommodate health and safety needs. Conclusion. Flight delays and cancellations are part of modern travel, but understanding how to deal with them effectively and efficiently can make all the difference. Whether it's knowing when to ask for compensation, finding alternative flights, staying informed with apps, or even preventing delays from happening in the first place, being prepared is the key. Patience, persistence, and proactive problem-solving are crucial to navigating these frustrating moments. By staying informed and adopting a calm, strategic approach, you can make the best of any travel disruption that comes your way. 28. Traveling during peak times, holidays, weekends, or busy seasons. Avoid traveling during peak periods. Traveling during peak times, holidays, weekends, summer vacations, is often when delays and cancellations are most frequent. If possible, try to schedule your flights for less popular travel times, such as midweek flights or outside of major holiday periods. Booking flights well in advance and avoiding last-minute purchases can help secure better availability and avoid potential overbooking issues. Flexibility is key during peak travel seasons. If you must travel during peak times, try to be more flexible with your schedule. Flights during these periods often face delays due to high traffic, bad weather, or airline staff shortages. Having flexible departure and return dates could save you from last-minute stress if a delay or cancellation occurs. 29. How to handle severe weather and natural disasters. Check the weather in advance before heading to the airport. Keep an eye on the weather forecast at both your departure and destination locations. Severe weather, like storms, snow, or hurricanes, is a common cause of flight disruptions. If there's a weather warning, consider checking with the airline to confirm if your flight will be impacted. Act early in extreme weather conditions. During extreme weather events, flights may be cancelled well in advance, so the earlier you can get information, the better. If your flight is cancelled because of weather, you may not be entitled to compensation, but airlines typically offer rebooking or assistance with accommodations. Contact the airline as soon as you're aware of the issue to start the rebooking process. Protect your valuables. If you're traveling in areas affected by natural disasters like hurricanes or flooding, be sure to protect any valuables you're carrying. Check with the airline about emergency protocols or evacuations if needed, and have backup emergency plans in place. 30. Dealing with strikes and labor disputes. No airline strike protocols when strikes, e.g., airline staff strikes, air traffic controller strikes, occur. They can lead to cancellations, delays, and severe disruptions. Before traveling, especially in regions prone to strikes, check for any planned labor actions by the airline or airport unions. You can do this by visiting news websites or checking social media platforms for updates. Look for alternative routes. If you find out your airline is involved in a strike, be proactive and start looking for alternative flights. Consider using a travel agent or booking through an online platform that compares other airline routes to rebook you as soon as possible. Airlines may have limited capacity during a strike, so securing a seat early is crucial. Have a nice trip.